O Lord, it is 7:01.
Therefore, let us go ahead and get started.
O Lord, unmute thyself.
O Lord, make haste to join us.
Glory be to the client and to the workflow and to the critical deliverables.
As it was on the agenda, is now and in the one-on-one, work without end. Amen.
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Wednesday, November 20th, 2024. I'm J.E. Skeets here in the Classic Factory, and alongside me, as always, Tass Mellis.
Podcast listeners, if I could sing, I'd do it like that. This one's for you!
Next to him, it's the bearded one, my top shot hot boy, Trey Kirby.
Heyo!
Heyo! And over yonder, making the magic happen, super producer JD.
Hello.
There he is! Here we are. Hello to everyone on YouTube. Hit the like button, subscribe. Podcast listeners, 5-star ratings and reviews. Really helps us out. We got a whole lot to talk about. We'll do a little Is This News later. We had a wild result to the Pick'em game, and we'll look ahead to tonight's action. But let's start with True or False. Streak snapped. The defending NBA champs held off the league's hottest team last night. Tatum leading the way, 33 points. Celtics beat the Cavs 120-117, handing the Cavs their first loss after 15 straight wins to open the season. So here's the true or false question. I'm going to throw at you guys, everyone joining us live, all the podcast listeners. True or false, the Celtics snapping the Cavs' 15-game win streak was a statement win?
Absolutely true.
Okay.
I think the Boston Celtics were prepared for this game. They were up for it. You saw guys like Jayson Tatum hitting his first threes, looking great. And then when George Niang got in his way and he dropped him, he said, "That guy." He literally turned around and said, "That guy." You don't see Tatum get that mad at things. He was just really, yeah, Tatum, he was a little upset with Niang. Just didn't like him. Drew a charge on him earlier. But anyways, you just don't see this team that focused. This team, every championship team, can't get up for every game.
Right.
But they sure did get up for this. When you saw Joe Mazzulla play only 8 guys, this guy was ready. Everybody's ready to make a statement. That being said, all the vets came out. It is nice to have some young guys play a little bit of a part. Like Mish Keita didn't have much of a role on the championship team at all, grabbing an offensive rebound and passing it to Sam Hauser for a 2-foot basket at the end of a quarter. Those little tiny plays, those make big differences. Speaking of young guys, like Peyton Pritchard continues to grow. That three, when this game was a close game with about 5 minutes left, passed out to him, and he hits a big 3, and he turned around. I'm not sure what he said, but I think he said something like, "I am this guy. I am this guy. I am this guy," over and over and over again.
I am this guy.
It's very difficult.
Instead of "I am him," I like "I am this guy."
I am this guy.
That's who this is. I mean, I really don't know. We need John Boy to help us out.
Sure.
But yeah, those young guys helping out, and then Al Horford with 2 big blocks in the fourth.
He was great.
Yeah, he was nice.
That was like 30 feet that he was able to recover and just follow Darius Garland. That was a long play for him to be able to guard. So those types of things, yeah, they were up for it. I think this was a statement for them.
Yeah, I guess the other way I could have asked this, Trey, was true or false. This was a legitimate good loss for the Cavaliers. Even though the streak was snapped, they came back down big at halftime, made it a very close game, like Tass just said. Is that true to you as well? Like, is this sort of a good loss, all things considered, for Cleveland?
I'm feeling generous this morning. So yes, that was a pretty solid loss because of the third quarter for the most part. I think the Cavs acquitted themselves quite nicely to come back after the way the first half went. It looked like it might be a tale of two halves. Turned out to be a game of runs, unfortunately, but the Cavs were much better, I thought, in the second half of looking for their mismatches. They would get Keita into a lot of switches. He had some moments that were good. I thought he had more moments that were bad personally, but they were getting Evan Mobley the ball inside as well. He was scoring. Mitchell was cooking for a little bit there. I thought they did a great job to respond to what the Celtics did in the first half, but the statement for me from the Celtics was, we're still the standard in the Eastern Conference, and Tass is totally right. They were ready for this game. They had a game plan. They only allowed 29 three-point attempts from the Cavs. That's their second fewest attempts all season. Meanwhile, Cleveland went nuts inside. 50% 57% from 2. They outscored the Celtics points in the paint 60-36. And that was just because Boston really focused on taking away the 3-pointers. The closeouts were crisp. They were going over the top of every screen on pick and roll. They were saying, we're not getting beat from 3. We're going to win the math game. They did win the math game big, but if you're the Cavs, you're like, look, we were down our 5th starter. We were down our replacement and our replacement and our replacement for our 5th starter.
Right.
We'll throw Sam Merrill out there. It's in Boston. Should go well. And it went okay. They lost by 3, so they've got to be thinking next time we'll be a little fuller strength. We got a better shot at it. But Porzingis will be back eventually too.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Yeah. Look, I hope we get this matchup. Obviously, in a playoff series, run it back and everybody's at full strength. Because I think you saw at least in this game, no Dean Wade, no Isaac Okoro, no Karis LeVert, no Max Strus, of course, still. So you go Sam Merrill. Like to me, like Okoro, maybe even Wade. Those are your better options to try and slow the power wings in Tatum and Brown. So missing them hurt. But there's no Porzingis. Like Keita's not even playing if KP's in the mix. So that changes things as well. But it was nice to see Cleveland come back because again, Celtics were up 17 at the half. They were 14-22 from 3 in the first half. They had a stretch where just nobody could miss a 3, but Cleveland wouldn't go away. So I do feel like it was a good loss in that sense. And then the part of this equation too is like, is Darius Garland going to have that bad a game that he had last night? Like that could be his worst game of the season. I know he struggled against the Celtics before because they have great defenders and Al Horford is just amazing at Garland gets by him, but Horford can still challenge at the backboard and at the rim. But I don't think he's going to go 3 for 21 again.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think it was the worst game of his career, probably. in terms of
bad. 3 of
just
21.
numbers.
He was brutal.
He missed every 3-pointer. He missed the wide open mid-range jumpers that he got when someone like Horford would completely sag off. He would miss those, and then he was 0 for 7 at the rim. And that again, that's Drew, that's White, that's Horford, doing a good job on him. But there were some bunnies that I think he probably will hit in the next game.
Yeah, he hit a couple push shots from the middle, which the Celtics are willing to give up. We're playing numbers here. Obviously, the Celtics shooting 50-plus threes most of the season, and this one they just got to 40-plus threes. And the other team, Garland will have that middle range available for him. He's not going to miss that many shots. But what I liked the Cavs responding and how they responded is Jared Allen sitting on the bench for the end of the game. They went to George Niang instead. They have multiple lineups, and that's what Kenny Atkinson is confident in. And as we said, Sam Merrill starting over a bunch of guys who should be playing more, and then Mr. Porter coming out of Craig Porter coming out of nowhere. He's playing a 1-2 pick and roll with Donovan Mitchell over and over and over again. And that was cool to see as Porter could operate from the mid-range and find guys down low. So they just have so many different cool things. The pick and roll with Mobley, obviously, and Mobley getting those mismatches down low, or occasionally, hey, it's Donovan Mitchell superstar time. He's ready just to take whoever on the perimeter. They just have a bunch of fun stuff. So I felt like this one was a Cavs win for me. I don't care about the moral thing. I think it morally usually doesn't matter, but I think in this case, I think it does matter a little bit.
The defeat ensures that Cleveland will not claim sole possession of the second longest undefeated start to the season in NBA history. They remain tied with the 93-94 Rockets and the 48-49 Capitals. I actually was enjoying Inside the NBA, the pregame last night, because they had Kenny Smith, obviously. He was on that 93-94 Rockets team talking about the win streak to start the season. I mean, it just was sort of cool to hear his insight on it. He talked about how it starts to take on its own life of its own when you hit 10, 11, 12 to start a season, and it almost becomes a bit of a distraction. And he was like, once we finally lost, it was like, oh, okay, good. Now we can just sort of get back to maybe not focusing on that as much. So that was sort of cool insight. But it was cool to see Donovan Mitchell come in here saying, this is a great test. This was a measuring stick game. And again, they made it competitive. It's just the problem I keep coming back to is the math problem of just the Celtics shooting way more threes than their opposition all season long. I know we sound like a broken record with it, but it's like, they're averaging over 50 3-point attempts per game where their opponents are averaging 35. That's one of the fewest in the league. That's a huge gap there. We're talking 16 more 3-pointers, 15 or 16 more 3-pointers per game.
That's a 3-point loss, though. Super close.
I know, and that's
because of the math.
Yeah. Look, again, that's definitely a reason why it's a good loss for the Cavs. It's they sort of got crushed in the math problem, but still only lost by 3. Garland was garbage. Mobley looked good, though. They were missing guys. So, add it all up, and They're not sad this morning, I don't think. It was an NBA Cup game, though. There is that, too. Celtics still alive in the NBA Cup.
The Cavs still got to win a couple of games to match their 17 out of 18 from last season.
Yeah.
They had a pretty good run last year as well when they were shooting a bunch of threes. I would have liked Bones McKinney from the 48-49 Capitals to make an appearance on Inside the NBA. Incredible names on this team. Cleggy Hermson. Johnny Norlander, Dick O'Keefe, and Dick Schultz.
2 dicks?
Double dicks.
Oh, wow.
On the Capitals.
Not the hockey team.
Ovechkin got there in the next season.
But
he's still playing.
Capitals with the O. It's not
That's
Capitals
right.
with an A.
That's right.
Yeah,
Hey, speaking of dicks,
BAA.
happy birthday to Grady Dick. It's his birthday today, 21 years old.
Big time happy birthday to him.
So the dick is legal, I guess, in some
He's
states.
definitely legal.
Yeah.
Very good for him. My last 2 things. I do think the Garland matchup is not great.
No.
For Darius Garland. He had a 6 for 20 game against the Celtics last year, shot 40% from the field with a 2-to-1 turnover to assist to turnover ratio last season. The size is just a problem for him, but he can be better, no doubt. But man, it's weird seeing Al Horford be able to stick with the guy on the perimeter and then block him at the rim twice.
Yeah.
That was impressive. Also, this was like an MVP level performance from Jayson Tatum. He's barely getting a mention here at the end of this little segment we're doing. 33 points, 12 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals. I thought he was most clutch actually at the end of the third quarter. The Cavs had made their run, but Tatum scored 7 of their last 9 to end the quarter.
Yep.
He sent Niang flying and then gave him the thumb. Get him out of here. I did love that as well. He was making timely buckets. The playmaking was nice as well. Scored a couple inside late in this game. He's 3rd in the league in scoring right now, just under 30 points per game. I think he's 29.9.
Yep,
top 25 in rebounds, top 25 in assists, top 10 in every single advanced stat that's out there. Very little buzz for Jayson Tatum as an MVP player, despite the fact that they're the defending champions and probably still the best team in the league.
Yeah, if you look at Basketball Reference this morning, the MVP award tracker, because Jokic has missed some games, he's now off the board. Tatum has jumped to the top of the list, with the 33% probability, AD, and then SGA. So yeah, Tatum is at least getting some respect there because you're right. The numbers are elite. I like that takeover at the end of the third quarter. And then really, like, Jaylen Brown hit some clutch baskets when this was a close game. That one little jelly with the right hand
Off the spin move. That was cool.
Gorgeous. And that was a timely bucket. So both those guys coming through. Any other thoughts on Cavs Celtics?
No, I'm glad we mentioned Tatum just because it feels right. And I wanted to start with that, and because this guy, we finally may be talking about him in that conversation. Maybe. Because he is having his most efficient season of his career because of his threes and how it's grown, just percentage-wise, because there seems to be a little bit of that less hitch in his shot. He's smoother on that three-point shot. He's more confident in that shot, and it was monstrous. And, yeah, the attitude was big. Setting up even Pritchard for the last 3 was big. Yeah, it might be happening. We might be talking about Jayson Tatum as a legitimate MVP guy.
Thank you, Steve Kerr, as the saying goes, if Tatum goes on to win MVP. All right, let's move to our next game. Keldon Johnson scored 22 points, included the play of the night. That somehow wasn't on the highest dunk score list, where he dropped the body and then threw it down in traffic. I don't know what was going on there, but the Spurs beat the Thunder 110-104. No Wemby. Oh, no Chet, obviously, for OKC, but first victory in the NBA Cup for the Spurs.
Ever.
They went 0-4 last year, and they got their first one here. I guess they'd already lost one, too, so they were 0-5. OKC closed the game on a 27-12 run, but were unable to score in the final minute. So Spurs get it done. True or false, though, TK? Was this the biggest cup set of the night? Spurs beating Thunder?
What a beautiful cup set this was.
I just wanted to say cup set.
I think that if this game was 3 minutes longer, OKC probably wins it because the Spurs were kind of freaking out in the fourth quarter. But still, to get the win, I think is big. No Wemby, no Vassell, no Sohan. Basically being carried by Keldon Johnson, Charles Bassey, and Chris Paul.
Yeah.
This will be the biggest accomplishment of Chris Paul's career if he wins an NBA Cup. But I thought he was awesome. 11 assists, 4 threes, had a huge 3, kind of a dagger on Alex Caruso that the game continued as well. The Thunder just looked very small last night. I thought they were playing guys you ain't never seen before. Adam Flagler, Dylan Jones. Looking at Dylan Jones, I'm like, what position is this guy? because he's built like Khalid El-Amin.
Yes.
He looks like he's 6'8", but somehow he's on the perimeter.
Yeah.
I have no idea who this guy is, but it was good stuff. Keldon Johnson, I couldn't believe he wasn't on the top dunk scores.
Yeah, what the hell?
The algorithm was weird last night. Trey Mann had a huge one, but wasn't over 100?
No,
That could have been the best dunk of the year to me. The Trey Mann one. Who knows?
It felt better than what do you get? 84.7 Trey Mann got. And
Yeah.
again, Keldon Johnson's not even on the list. I think they screwed up. I don't think they
They don't
counted
have the
that
calculations in?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. There's, they're still counting ballots from the election. They're still figuring out dunk scores from
It'll
San
update in a
Antonio.
week. Yeah.
But yeah, I thought Bassey was actually pretty solid in this one. Really went crazy in the fourth quarter, just catching lobs and being at the rim and kind of being the most traditional big guy out there while the Thunder are missing all of their dudes. Keldon Johnson, ESPN said he went God mode, and I guess a little bit. 22 points, 6 threes, did have that big dunk. He, to me, is maybe the most forgotten gold medalist there is out there.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
4 candidates. It's him, it's Zach LaVine. Nobody ever mentions that. Jeremy Grant was on that team. And JaVale McGee. Weird squad.
Yeah.
Very
Wow.
weird squad. But I mean, Keldon Johnson is maybe the most questionable of those ones, but he was awesome last night. And it was just a nice win for the Spurs. I was watching a lot of stuff on Castle just to see what he's doing out there. Looked pretty good through 3 quarters. 5 turnovers in the fourth quarter.
Though the huge block on SGA.
Huge block.
That was nice.
Stone face reaction.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yep.
It's got a little Iguodala to him, I think.
Okay, I like that comparison.
Yeah, the weird thing I thought in that OKC game was that they chucked 53 threes. They just went for it. Way more than the Boston Celtics. Even though they have this team, which is playing a 6'6" guy at center, that is what they allow themselves. They allow themselves to have a bunch of room in the middle. But they only had 7 free throws in this game. I don't think they were drawing enough. And they are way down in terms of threes per game in this league. They're like 28th in this league. And that should allow them, without Chet Holmgren in there, to get so many. And yeah, it was basically all Shea at the line in this one for only 7 free throws in this game for the Thunder. Again, you have lots of room. So yeah, they'll live and they'll learn. They would love to have Isaiah Hartenstein back immediately. I'm interested sort of in the Hornets Nets thing. What happened? You saw the Trey Mann dunk. Obviously, what a dunk. Forget about the beta mode that the dunk scoring method is in right now. That was awesome.
Yeah.
A beautiful dunk. Noah Clowney, was really weird how he slid in and took like the best seat for the view. Like he got in there, but he didn't do anything. He sort of was dunked on, but he sort of just slid in there to look at this beautiful thing, which was a nice dunk on him. In that game, LaMelo Ball sat the last 4+ minutes, didn't play. And I think that's interesting. Charles Lee coming in there trying to inspire a new atmosphere, new ecosystem, a new environment in that locker room to say, LaMelo Ball, I mean, we needed a game-winning shot at the end. Even if you sat for 4.5 minutes, why wouldn't you come out? Well, because Trey Mann was playing awesome. And so I just am curious how that is going to go for a guy like LaMelo Ball, who, played 24 minutes and sat there for the end of the fourth quarter. So that is a very interesting game there. Obviously, Cam Johnson was awesome, and we'll talk about him later on when we talk about the Nets.
We got some slop. We got some slop when it comes to the Nets.
Can't trade that guy. But that was a nice score bug on that game, I thought. Did you see the gold?
The gold. I wish all the broadcasts were doing that.
Very nice.
Come on, it's the NBA Cup. Let's go.
Cup. Respect the cup.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yes Network taking the logos of the Hornets and the Nets and just putting on some gold on it. So you can see a little of the blue Hornets still, but there's a nice gold on it. I thought it was sexy.
So it probably is true that the biggest cup set was the Spurs beating the Thunder, just in terms of where they are in the rankings or in the standings. But I'm glad you did bring up the other one that would be in consideration, is the Nets Hornets. Like, upset, I guess not at home, but competitive game for sure. All right, next one here. Dalton Knecht tied the NBA single game rookie record with 9 3-pointers while scoring a career high 37 points as the Lakers beat the Jazz 124-118. That's the Lakers' 6th consecutive victory here. After the game, LeBron couldn't help but gloat about LA getting Knecht at number 17 in the draft. He told Dave McMenamin, quote, "They didn't find DK. The other 16 teams fucked it up." End quote. Again, that's LeBron. Loving this. But the question, Tess, true or false? Dalton Knecht was the steal of the 2024 NBA draft going 17th.
Absolutely. It is weird that he didn't go in the top 16. It's strange. I mean, they finally did something right in the draft. The Lakers, they knocked it out. It took a while, but they got a great one here. A guy who played 5 years in college came out. He's a 23-year-old, so you could say he's just this old rookie, but he's just damn good and he's perfect. It's his first start here, and it's taking a little while. It's going to take him a little while, I guess, but because he's a 5-year vet or a 5-year college player, do you question if he's a good fit around Anthony Davis and LeBron James? No. I mean, look at him. The 12 shots that he took in this game were 9 threes and 3 dunks.
Yeah.
That's what JJ Redick wants. And it worked absolutely perfectly. And he got extremely hot at the end of the third quarter when he was on a heat check, just over and over hitting those 5 threes. And that's what LeBron will say. LeBron's done it before with D'Angelo Russell beside him. You shoot it, dude. Pass it to him. You shoot it, dude. This is exactly what he's going to do with Dalton Knecht. Shoot it, man. So it looks good right now here. JJ Redick is a perfect connection for him, I'm sure.
Yeah. Ooh, connection. Nice.
There it is.
Connect.
Yeah, I can't help it. You can't help it say it.
I know.
The guy's got a 4 on his back.
Connect 4. It's really
too good.
Yeah, it really is. Just to clarify, I don't know. I think you said he's started 4 games now for the Lakers.
Oh, has he? That's my
And he's
bad.
on a bit of a run here because now he's in the starting lineup, and part of that was injuries, and he is cooking the last 3 games as a starter, 26 points per game. 5 boards as well, and obviously great shooting percentages. He's shooting like 60% from 3 in those games. But it makes sense pairing a shooter with LeBron James, because we've seen that work before in previous teams, and of course AD as well. But what do you think? Is he the best, or is he the steal, I guess, TK, of the draft?
Did Dalton Knecht just win Rookie of the Year last night?
Yeah, there it is.
Basically.
Highest scoring game by any rookie so far this season in a Cup game?
Yeah.
Lakers still undefeated in Cup history.
Cup legend.
Cup legend. This was a Klay Thompson-esque performance from Dalton Knecht. I couldn't find the stats on NBA.com/stats. They were still tabulating them. Only one of his baskets was unassisted, and I'm pretty sure he took 3 total dribbles before his baskets. A lot of these were open catch-and-shoot jumpers or alley-oops running the court, that kind of stuff, and that's the perfect kind of player to play around-side LeBron, AD, and honestly Austin Reeves, too. Reeves is a really good playmaker. LeBron is obviously a playmaker, and we've seen that JJ Redick is using Anthony Davis more as a hub, so you need guys who don't need the ball. Knecht doesn't need the ball. He'll be open, he'll catch it, and he'll shoot it right away. That's why J.R. Smith was such a success. Next to LeBron James, if you're hot, he's going to get you the ball, and if you're willing to shoot it, he's definitely going to get you the ball.
Yeah.
I thought Russell was the same way, playing alongside Knecht, just kept trying to find him over and over again in that third quarter when he was on fire. Also got to give a big shout out to D'Angelo Russell with a block at the rim on Zach Collins, turned into a Knecht dunk, but the steal of the draft was taken 1 pick before him. Jared McCain went 16th, and he is actually the Rookie of the Year right now.
Okay.
It's a great race.
It's either
Between
McCain
16
or
and-
Dalton Knecht, yeah. And I mean, I guess if you want to go second round steals, Jalen Wells has played really well for the Grizzlies, but those are the 3 guys. Steals. McCain 16, Knecht 17, and then Wells going 39th overall.
It changes weekly.
It does.
You go to NBA.com stats to see who is the leading rookie every single week, and it changes. It literally does, because nobody has grabbed it. We've talked about it before. Maybe it's a little Malcolm Brogdon Rookie of the Year-esque, somebody who's later in the first round. And that's what's happening, for sure. So it is a fun race. But, yeah, it was Jalen Wells leading rookies in scoring for a while. And it was Zach. It changes. We'll see.
All right, next one here. 17 seasons after Russell Westbrook notched his first career triple-double, the future Hall of Famer tallied his 200th last night in a win over the Grizzlies. 12 points, 14 assists, 10 boards. And in doing so, Westbrook became the first player in NBA history to reach that milestone. I can barely see it there, but it does say 200 on that piece of paper that Russ is holding up. Use a marker, guys! Please!
Or at least like go heavy on the circles.
I know!
You gotta darken it up a little. Also, the 2 is very funny to me. It's so loopy.
It is a loopy, too.
Yeah, they just thought of that after the game. They obviously didn't think about the piece of paper before the game. They didn't care about the 200th triple-double before the game.
It's just...
You literally can't see it. I was wondering.
See it, yeah.
I was wondering, are my eyes just bad? Is that what's happening to me? But no.
I think it's our monitor here in the factory a little bit. But,
Nah, come
it's
on.
bad.
It's a pen.
Hey, I know. It's a pen. Just use a marker. That's all we ask. But the question here, TK, get us started. True or false? Westbrook's 200th career triple-double is worth celebrating.
Yes.
True?
Yes. I mean, 200. I don't think that I'm going to be telling people. I certainly didn't tell my kids this morning at breakfast, hey, did you hear Russell Westbrook got his 200th triple-double? But it is amazing. The guy's a triple-double machine.
Yep.
at one point in his career, he had so many triple-doubles that people are like, triple-doubles are boring now. You know? Everybody assumed LeBron was going to be the only guy who could ever average a triple-double for a season. Russ did it 4 times.
Yep.
He's got hilarious stats when it comes to triple-doubles. He'll go down as Mr. Triple-Double. So, yeah, let's celebrate it. And let's also mostly, I think they should celebrate Jamal Murray having a good game.
Yeah, sure.
27 points for him last night. 3 steals, a couple of blocks. It's only his 4th 20-point game of the season. His first in like 3 weeks. Had a lot of 3-pointers as well in this one, and I like to see that a lot of them were coming off driving kicks from Russell Westbrook. They needed Murray to step up with Jokic missing another game here on FMLA, but he was good. They got the win, and they absolutely needed the win. Celebrations for both of them.
Do you wish there was a photo of Jamal Murray in the locker room holding up a piece of paper that said "good game" on it?
Had a good game. 4th 20-point game of the season. I only want it if I can't read it, though.
Yeah, I know. It's like, what's that say? What the hell's that say? He's a UFC fan? What the hell's it say on it? What about the Russ part? And you can talk about, obviously, the Nuggets here, too. Jamal, Michael Porter Jr. playing well.
It's great. Jamal had a 27-point game where he shot 50%. That's not a Jamal thing to shoot 50%. And Trey brought it up yesterday, how Jamal gets better as the season goes on, month to month to month. But this early ain't usual Jamal. So it is a good sign that he's thrown into this role without Jokic, that he has looked more like Jamal Murray, for sure. The Westbrook thing, yes, we haven't thought much about triple-doubles in the last 8 years since Westbrook.
Well,
since
in the last
Westbrook,
5 years, when he beat Oscar Robertson's all-time record.
I threw the number out at 8 because it seems like a long time
I think it was
ago.
2021.
When he won the MVP with the triple-double, I think it changed a lot because we saw a guy who was very adamant about going and getting those triple-doubles. Mm-hmm. He loved getting them.
I mean, even last night.
Yeah.
he needed one more board, and he went and got an offensive rebound.
It's changed. The game has changed. People didn't used to care about triple-doubles as much until now, until the last 8 years, I think, or whenever it was. But yes, I guess it's an accomplishment for him. It is weird to see how long he's been in the league, 17 years, when he had his first triple-double in his rookie year.
It's nuts.
It was kind of surprising because I just don't think of Russell Westbrook as an incredible rookie because he wasn't. Like, he wasn't a rookie of the year, anywhere close to it. So anyways, he had it back then. He's had a really long career.
Yeah, the longevity is the most impressive part. Yeah. People love round numbers, 200. Damn.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome.
10 is a great number, period.
Just 10, for the triple-double.
Yeah, man. 10's a round number.
Yeah,
we love
right.
10.
All right.
You do 10 reps at the gym. Why don't you do 14? Because 10's round. Round is good.
14.
I got some...
12 every once in a while. 12's a nice number, I think. 14 is terrible. I don't know. 14 is my least favorite number under 20.
When you get to 14, you might as well just do 20 at that point. Keep going. I got some trivia for you guys off this, though.
Okay.
Westbrook, okay? He recorded a triple-double now with 6 different franchises. That's pretty wild. Mm-hmm. So every team he's played for, he now has a triple-double. He broke a tie with these 2 guys who had done it for 5 other franchises. Can you name them?
Wow. Triple-double for 5 franchises?
I think the one you can get, but I think the other one is very difficult. So have at it. Don't overthink the first one. Go ahead. So go with your gut. Like a triple-double guy.
Oscar Robertson.
No, not enough teams.
Play yeah. It's not a Lance Stevenson.
No. This guy, you forget that, like, he's known with one franchise. He won a title with one franchise. Then he bounced around a ton. Actually, he won a championship with another storied franchise at that. He's won a title with the 2 storied franchises.
He's a Laker.
Rondo?
Yep, Rondo.
Oh.
Rondo. That's a triple-double.
Okay, that's the easy one. Now
That's
the tough
one.
This guy, okay, I'll give you this. He won Rookie of the Year back in the 80s at some point. He has, I can't. I was going to do a body move.
Antoine. No.
I was going to do a body move.
A shimmy or shimming?
I mean, that's an Antoine Walker.
Well, yeah, but he sort of did it before.
Mark Jackson.
Yeah. He did. That's good.
Rondo, Mark Jackson, I guess,
good,
had a triple-double with 5 teams prior.
Jackson?
Yeah.
Hitting the glass,
the Knicks, the Pacers, the Raptors.
I know.
Nuggets, I guess. I mean, he probably played for 5 teams. Wow, that's a crazy one.
Yeah. He played for the Knicks, you said, the Clippers, the Pacers. He did play for the Nuggets at one point. He played for the Raps. He played for the Jazz and the Rockets at the end. I don't know if he actually got a triple-double with them, though. So there you go. And then the final one, with a triple-double in 13 straight seasons.
There's another one.
Yeah, this is a different question.
Oh, okay.
Keep the music going. Westbrook tied for the second longest streak in NBA history by doing it for 13 straight seasons with a triple-double, okay? He trails only this guy who did it for 17 straight seasons, at least a triple-double in one of those seasons.
LeBron?
No, not Ron. That's weird. How's it not Bron?
17 seasons of a triple-double.
Magic Johnson? I don't think he played 17 seasons.
No. This guy won a title. He's a Mr. Triple. He was probably Mr.
Oscar?
Triple-double guy. He would have had so many 12-point, 14-assist, 10-board games. Let's put it that way. Not known as an elite scorer.
Lamar Odom.
No.
It's not Oscar.
No.
Won a championship,
Yeah,
said.
he did, yeah. As a vet.
Triple.
As a wily vet.
As a wily vet?
Yeah, like
Gary Payton.
He was
Jason Kidd?
Jason Kidd.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's weird
obvious.
that LeBron is not included in
A
that.
lot of years, dude.
Is there just a year possible that LeBron
Like right in the middle of his career.
That'd be strange. Yeah, I'll have to double check that.
I mean,
Anyway.
yeah, he got hurt that one, the Laker year, but you know.
It seems strange that he wouldn't have had a triple-double. I'm questioning my own questions.
Really makes you think.
Jesus.
Two traditions I like in the NBA that we saw last night were holding up a paper for any sort of accomplishment. I don't know if I've ever seen it for anything besides points, though. That was the first time I remember a 200.
Yeah, I
something
guess
like
LeBron
that.
did it for total points in his career. Yeah.
Yeah, it's usually points. And then also when Dalton Knecht was going off, hitting all of his threes, he shrugged.
Yeah.
If you make multiple threes in a half, or like in a quarter, if you hit 4 or 5, you got to shrug.
You have to. That's the Jordan rule.
That is the Jordan rule. Yeah. That's what that book was about.
That's right.
I can't believe they got 300 pages out of that, but that was great.
Good stuff. Okay, let's go from true or false to is this news? All right, I got some headlines for you guys. We're going to debate whether or not they're newsworthy and really dive into them. This first one, I mean, really, the news broke not long after we went off the air yesterday. And the headline is from Shams, and it reads, Tyrese Maxey challenged Joel Embiid in that 76ers meeting from the other night. Now, we talked about the meeting that they had, but we didn't know the details here. And the big takeaway is that Maxey challenged Embiid to be on time to team activities. So he called out the former MVP about being late for everything and how it impacts the locker room. And, you know, from players to coaching staff and all that. Basically, like, come on, man. You got to lead better. So, what do you think about this? Is this news, and how blown away were you by this?
It's very good news.
This is good news.
Yeah, I think so. I think if Maxey says to Embiid, who he's close to and all that, whatever.
Yeah.
Regardless, if he just says, be on time, that's a positive. I mean,
Well, if Embiid eventually moving forward is on time.
Yeah, I think they respect each other. I think Embiid has done a lot with this team. I know they haven't won, but he's obviously put the team on his back a lot. And so Maxey's just saying, not only to Embiid, but it was also spread to others. This was the last paragraph of Aldridge and Amick on The Athletic, basically saying everybody was sort of called out, even the young guys. So it ain't as sexy as the Shams one, not as sexy as this lower third, JD, that you put on the YouTube. Shams? He's got his own line now? That is sexy.
Shams topper.
That is beautiful stuff.
Hell yeah, he deserves it.
He deserves it. And I think, like, Maxey ain't even playing right now. I just didn't find it that offensive. Like you would if you're sitting in that locker room. Basically, they're just saying, come on, guys, let's play. And you, the leader guy, play a little more harder. I think that's all it sort of was.
Isn't that
I wasn't
sort
offensive.
of sad that this guy's a 30-year-old, 9-year vet, MVP, led the league in scoring, Olympic gold medalist, yada, 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 that, like, your young 24-year-old superstar has to tell him to, like, hey, man, show up, show better leadership. It's sad that it got leaked for sure, but it is sad a little bit. He's getting called out by his younger brother.
Yeah,
in front of everyone.
That's
like, you're probably right.
Fairly true.
It's probably, I guess it was needed. I don't think he would have done it if he didn't feel like it was needed. I also think we got what was happening with Kyle Lowry talking to Embiid after that brutal loss to the Heat. Remember, they were sitting on the bench. We were on playback. We're like, wow, they're having a heart-to-heart. My gut says Kyle Lowry was like, we're talking about this back there. We're calling a group meeting, because I think he sort of did say, let's talk this out. Let's have the heart-to-heart. I don't know.
I know what you mean.
It's concerning.
Yeah, I guess I'm not that offended because I'm never on time either. So
You're the Embiid, man.
please, somebody here, tell me.
Who's going to be the Maxey?
Yeah, get here earlier. I mean, there's traffic on local streets here. Anyway.
That's what Embiid said, actually. There's traffic on local streets here. I would have been on time.
What do you think, TK? Is this a nothing burger, or is there something
It
more
ain't a
there?
nothing burger.
No,
I think
so
this
either.
reflects really well on Tyrese Maxey and pretty poorly on Joel Embiid to get called out by a guy who has accomplished like a tenth of what Joel Embiid has accomplished. Maxey's not even playing right now, and he still had to come out in front of everybody and say, hey, man, take the season seriously. We're a month in right now, and it feels like Embiid is treating it like the preseason. He says, yeah, but I don't like how I'm being used. I don't know what we're doing out there. Probably because you're not playing or showing up for practice. That's when you're figuring that kind of stuff out. It just goes to show that your best player really influences everything, and I think Maxey understands that, right?
Yeah.
He's saying, if our number one guy is basically saying the regular season doesn't matter, that's going to filter on down, because that's what Embiid has said. He wasn't ready for the start of the season. He said, I'm not playing back-to-backs. I only care about the playoffs. What kind of message does that send to everybody? Luckily, they have a guy like Maxey who has Embiid's ear and probably isn't calling him out all the time. So when he says something, it actually has an effect on him. We'll see how Embiid takes it going forward, because for once again, unbelievably, the entire season is on Joel Embiid's shoulders for the Sixers, and they need him to be the best player in the league right now for them to get out of the bottom four in the Eastern Conference, to be a top 6 team, because you don't want to be in the play-in tournament. Maybe they win. Maybe they get to the 7th seed. Good luck. You're probably playing the Celtics. Cool. You'll lose that one.
Yeah.
Maybe you can beat the Cavs. Who knows? I don't have a lot of faith in the Sixers as a playoff team, but the Cavs are young, too, in their growth model here. I'm just saying the 76ers would not be favorites against either of those teams, and likely right now they're ending up in the play-in tournament unless they get on a roll here, unless Embiid starts focusing on this season, gets engaged, and starts playing like he can.
Yeah. Embiid apparently accepted the messages sent in the meeting. I see you. I hear you. But he did, and you slipped it in there, TK. He stated that he sometimes is confused about what the 76ers are attempting to execute on the court. So that's a bit of a shot there across the bow of maybe Nick Nurse and his coaching staff. But yeah, there was a lot of like players holding the coaches accountable, like, hey, coach us harder. There was that report. And then, coaches saying, well, hey, practice harder. So everybody just saying, everybody be better. And that's really the truth of this team right now, outside of Jared McCain. Nobody's played well for this team, but it starts from the top and trickles down. And that's, I think, what Maxey's saying here, man. Like,
absolutely.
Let's go, big guy.
Yeah, also it should be noted amongst these players, don't let stuff leak again. I mean, if we have this conversation.
Who do you think leaked this, in all honesty? Do you think Nick Nurse leaked it?
Wow. Just to get everything.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Why do you think so?
I think Clutch leaked it. And
Okay.
they've got Maxey as a client, and they've got Nick Nurse as a client.
Yeah.
And if you see Philadelphia fans and Raptors fans have joined forces here, apparently Nick Nurse always says something about the elephant in the room.
I saw this. That's so good.
That's his telltale phrase, unfortunately. So, yeah, I mean, who comes out looking bad in this? Joel Embiid. Who comes out looking good? Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah.
Well, let's create a conspiracy theory short on who. We've
leaked it?
got a couple that we've created. Yeah,
I think it's Nurse too.
What Joel Embiid is doing is treating this season like a bunch of his previous seasons, and this season should be treated a little bit differently. I think that's what Maxey is saying as well. Hey, we got a new guy here in Paul George. If you wanna, I know, even as far up as our front office, we want to treat things differently for your legs and let you sit at the beginning of the season. But like you brought up, Trey, part of it, getting used to Paul George and getting used to things is playing together. And so that would help, is I think what Maxey says.
And they've got a lot of new guys. Like, Maxey has been there for a long time, but outside of Maxey, like the longest tenured 76ers I heard on Ball are Oubre, who got there last year, and Kyle Lowry, who got there 2/3 of the way through the season last year. The only guy who could call out Joel Embiid is Tyrese Maxey. He's really the only one who has the rep there, but they've made so many changes in the offseason. Obviously, things have changed with the way they're running offense. Otherwise, Embiid would be fine with it, right? Like, he was just like, I get the ball all the time. It's no problem for me. But Paul George is a big piece. Yabusele came over. We haven't seen great stuff from all of the vets they signed, and Martin and Drummond, Eric Gordon, there's a lot that has changed. You need the number one guy out there to build any sort of chemistry.
Yes. Our team at The Athletic did report that there is no internal discussion, at this point at least, regarding the job status of Nick Nurse or Daryl Morey, so there's that. Maxey might play tonight. I think he's questionable to play in Memphis. Maybe more likely he plays on Friday against the Nets, but we could see, I guess my point is, Maxey, Paul George, and Embiid play together.
That would be cool.
This week. I think it will happen this week. I don't know if it happens tonight there in Memphis, but at some point we should have them.
Yeah, they obviously haven't played one game together. Going up against Memphis, who's a very good defense, it ain't easy. Obviously, Morant probably not going to be there, but they are a good defense. And this Sixers team is the worst offense in the league because they just can't get a flow. The Grizzlies are on a back-to-back. Blah, 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 blah. But, I'm just intrigued by the clutch sports thing because, we've seen it before.
Oh, God, yeah. Well, somebody leaks it.
Yeah.
Somebody tells Shams or somebody at CAA. Yeah, that's how it happens.
It ain't Daryl Morey. Who's going and leaking to the press. I highly doubt that.
I love all the visuals of a Sixers team meeting, though, because you can picture Paul George setting up his podcast equipment. There's a funny clip going around of Jared McCain's just dancing, trying to lift the spirits, doing his TikTok moves. It's a fun visual with all of them hashing it out there. But yeah, Maxey's called him out, and now it really is up to Embiid and all of them, especially the stars, to take this seriously. They're 2-11, and Mike Vorkunov of The Athletic tweeted, 106 teams have started 2-11 or worse in NBA history. Only 8 made the playoffs. Only 3 of those had a winning record. And yeah, all those prior seasons probably didn't have an Eastern Conference that looked like it does right now, where it's they're not that far out of it. And all those prior seasons did not have play-in chances that you can backdoor your way in. I get that, but still, 2-11, we're coming up to 25% of the season done, and they are in dead last. So it's just there's no more excuses, really. They can't be the worst offense in the league, and nor should they when you have a guy that was an MVP, a leading scorer, you have a young talent in Maxey, and then you went and made the biggest move of the offseason in getting Paul George, who has, because of all this other drama, it's been completely overlooked how bad he's been. So, it's bad. It's just bad. The Sixers fans and this team, it's how many years running have they led the league in the drama rankings? It's pretty astonishing.
And they were the offseason champs, man.
I know.
Right? Embiid got a gold medal, had some moments against Serbia when they needed him. Signed Paul George. Everybody was fired up about Eric Gordon and Andre Drummond. Good support pieces. And then the season started. Well, the season didn't even start. Embiid got hurt in preseason.
Yeah.
Just like that.
All right, let's move on to our next headline. This is fun. A little slop, as we promised. Sam Amick. The headline is, Rebuilding Nets are expected to be open for trade business. Despite the competitive start here, TK, Sam's reporting says, hey, everybody is available. And maybe the most shocking name is Cam Thomas is widely considered to be available if you want him. But is this news?
This is good news for the 76ers because they're chasing the 9th seed Brooklyn Nets, 6-9. Meanwhile, Philadelphia, 2-11. They got to catch some of those teams. And Brooklyn is basically saying, don't worry, we're not going to be a play-in threat here. We've had a fun start to the season. We've got a little bit of an identity. We're scrappy, but we did the trade for Mikal Bridges in the offseason so that we could tank and keep our pick and hopefully get a high one in this coming offseason. So this is not super surprising. And, maybe if you're Jordy Fernandez, you're a little upset seeing this. Oh, man, I've actually got some good performances out of these veterans here. But it does feel like the Nets have a lot of guys who would be helpful for other teams. So rank these trade targets for me, guys. Dennis Schroeder, 31 years old, unrestricted free agent in the summer.
Yeah, okay.
Cam Johnson, 28 years old. He's signed through 2027. Cam Thomas, like you mentioned, 23 years old. He'll be a restricted free agent in the summer. Dorian Finney-Smith, he's 31. He's got a player option for $15 million next season, but could be a free agent this summer. And then Nick Claxton, 25 years old. He's got a crazy deal. He's signed through 2028, and it goes from 28 to 26, 24, 21.5 million. Descending contracts. So Schroeder, Johnson, Thomas, DFS, and Claxton.
I think Schroeder, DFS, and Cam Thomas are the clear top 3 that they could trade.
Whoa, so, Cam Thomas, you include in that bunch?
I think so. They haven't signed him to that extension. I mean, he's got a qualifying number for next year.
Yeah.
They haven't said, hey, we're paying you.
But who's going to have money to pay him? is the other thing.
Oh,
they maybe are making the wise decision here. Well, there's not a lot of teams that are going to, in theory, have cap space. It's like them and the Wizards. So that might work out for them, unless it alienates the two camps, his representation and then them themselves. But the guy's a bucket, too. I mean, he's a weird player.
There's going to be that few teams that have cap space.
There's not going to be many.
Pistons ready to
You think they want Cam Thomas?
Push.
I guess I'm talking about teams that would want.
Well,
theoretically,
I think when it comes to trade deadline, it's basically what type of player you want when it comes to Schroeder, Dorian Finney-Smith, or Cam Thomas. They're three very different players.
Right.
Point guard, or your classic 3-and-D type guy in DFS, or your what could be a sixth guy on a great team, or your scorer. So those are the three. I don't think they should trade Nick Claxton or Cam Thomas. Cam Johnson. I got my Cams mixed up.
Yeah.
Next year, they have basically no money allotted to anybody because they have lots and lots and lots of room to give anybody the max. That's for sure. That being said, there's money for two max guys, but I'm not sure if they can get guys. Kyrie's a free agent. You want to bring Kyrie back?
No way. Not a chance.
LeBron, I don't think you want to bring it. But I don't think you want to do it with Brandon Ingram. You want to go a different route, obviously. I mean, keep going down. Julius Randle, don't think it's happening. Jimmy Butler, he's old. It ain't going to happen. Jonathan Kuminga is where the conversation starts. There's a possibility. But even still, I think you would keep Cam Johnson and Nick Claxton. You have no money assigned to anybody. So I think you basically keep at least a couple talented guys that you have signed to long-term deals. Like Cam Johnson didn't seem like a good deal last year, but the guy is playing extremely well, obviously, yesterday with that monstrous game. 34 points without Cam Thomas in there. He said, no problem, going to do it. Yeah. So you've got him signed for – it's a really good descending money deal. Fun to say. 22 this year, 20 the next year, and then 22 the next year when he was 25 last year. The guy is shooting 38% on 7.5 threes going into last night. That's great percentage. Mm-hmm. So I think those two guys stay. But the DFS, he's going somewhere. He's not going to warrant a lot, I don't think, at this point of his career.
No, a lot of these guys, I mean, Cam Thomas makes $4 million, so that's different. But like a lot of these guys are that sub $20 million that are sort of easy to trade in today's NBA. Here's how I would do it. And I sort of get Sean Mark's thinking here. It's like, hey, we're open for calls, man. Mm-hmm. Call us. Let's hear the offers. But I think you'd have to be blown away with whatever the offer was for Cam Johnson. Like, it would have to, you're talking 2 first-round picks, maybe a young prospect. Like, Cam Johnson is really good. He's on a good deal. Maybe even for Cam Thomas. Depends if you think the Nets sort of like him long-term and will eventually sign him once he hits free agency as a restricted free agent. Those two guys, the two Cams, I think you'd have to be blown away by the offer. But then when I get to Dorian Finney-Smith, like a first-round pick and maybe sort of a project player, okay. We're listening. You know, Bogdanovich, sure. We didn't even throw him in there. And then Schroeder. Yeah, I know. And then Schroeder, the same thing. I mean, you're like, it's probably a protected first round pick. It's like, my point is like, whatever the trade offer is, it starts to like decrease, and then you're like, okay, maybe we would do that with the importance of how I rank these players. But yeah, I feel for Jordy a little bit too, man. Guy's coaching his ass off.
That's and they're what it's like when you coach a bad team.
I know.
Yeah, they're gonna cut your legs out from under you eventually. Just ask Will Hardy. It's crazy to think. Back in 48-49, we had 2 dicks on teams. 24-25, 2 Cams. Is it an improvement? I don't know.
I always want to call Cam Thomas Carl Thomas, the R&B singer. Remember him?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. Maybe we should do that because we have 2 Cams on the same team.
I thought you were going Carl Winslow. I don't know why. He's the guy.
You want me to call Cam Thomas Carl Winslow?
I go Carl Winslow before Carl Thomas. But I wonder if you trade for Dorian Finney-Smith, does he bring his Wedgie of the Year trophy that he was given?
Oh, wow. He got that?
He got that in 2017 for a great block wedgie, and he came on to the starters. Well, he sent a video for the show where he accepted the Wedgie of the Year trophy. He was proud. That's one of the things I remember about Dorian Finney-Smith. I mean, it is getting later in his career. I did like how he got into it a little bit. Was it yesterday? Who did he get it into? Oh, now I even forget who he got it. He's a scrappy dude. And so somebody will definitely be willing to trade for him. Would you warrant a first-round pick for Dorian Finney-Smith?
It's protected.
Heavy protected.
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah,
I think so. Well, I mean, it depends where your team is and if you think he's like the player to take you to the next step, either moving through playoff rounds or even competing. Yeah, he's the type of player that a lot of teams can be like, oh, we got to roll for him.
Somebody's also going to trade for Schroeder when you talk about take you to the next step. Like Schroeder is that guy who can help you right here, right now in a championship run.
Sure.
I know he's not a championship guy, but he's a German champ. This guy knows how to lead a team.
He's a German champ. You're right.
Yeah,
German champ.
This is a different, version or a different era of the Dennis Schroeder career. He's not a number one guy, but he's gotten better at being sort of a role player and scoring and running a team.
I guess he wasn't on the bubble Lakers, was he? That was Rondo.
You got
right.
Yeah, and then he came after. Yeah. All right, next headline here. It's a bit of a weird one because it isn't even about the NBA, but the New York Times. The headline was Beyoncé to perform halftime show at Ravens-Texans on Christmas on Netflix. And I bring this up, Trey, because the poor NBA can't catch a break with Christmas anymore. Remember back in the day when the NFL was like, you know what, you guys, the NBA, you can have your Christmas. And then a couple years ago, they're like, yeah, well, I don't know about that. It used to be if it was just on Sunday, if it fell on Sunday, okay, we're putting on games. But then it started to leak to all these other days, and now they're like, yeah, we love the money. We love the ratings. So we're going to double down now and have Beyonce perform from her Cowboy Carter album. Is what she's going to do.
First time ever in
front of a live audience.
Man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I guess on the NBA angle of this, is it newsworthy? Or does it not matter and you can't beat the behemoth that is the NFL when it comes to ratings anyway?
You can't beat them. And they're joining us. I mean, what are you supposed to say here? You look at the NBA Christmas Day Games Wikipedia page. There's an actual Wikipedia page for this. The whole first paragraph is basically about how the NBA has decided to monopolize Christmas because no other sports are going. There used to only be 2 games on Christmas from the NBA. It was a doubleheader through the 1990s. Tripleheader started in 02-03, and then they went to the 5-header, the Peyton Manning in 08-09.
5-header.
Yeah. Hey,
Good call.
I look at my face. I'm a 4.5. But I got Peyton beat barely. But yeah, this is going to happen during the 4:30 p.m. game. What did you say? Ravens-Texans. So that'll coincide with 76ers Celtics. People are going to be turning over.
Yeah.
There's no other way around it. It's 5 games too many, people are saying.
It could be. I mean, I guess the other question is, should the NBA try to add some cultural cachet to the Christmas Day games? In terms of celebrities or performances or hoopla? I mean, I don't know. Taz, if you have an opinion on that.
Well, the NFL owns Thanksgiving. So now the NBA could be returning the favor and coming for Thanksgiving a little bit. They have 0 games scheduled on Thanksgiving every single year.
The NBA has stopped putting games on Thursday nights because the NFL basically puts games there. Or like TNT, marquee games, at least through the first half of the season.
Well, NBA players, you might have to be working on Thanksgiving. That's likely what will happen. Either way, for Beyonce, it's pretty cool. She's doing it in Houston,
right,
where she's from.
Backyard.
It's like you said, Trey, a 4:30 game, so whatever it is, that she has to get there for. I don't know what time she has to get there for, but she can spend the morning,
Christmas morning with the kids. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
Blue Ivy, great.
Sure.
The only way she agreed to do this is for it to be a late afternoon game, I think.
Oh, you think so?
If it was an early game, no.
Gotta have breakfast.
Is that the only Christmas NFL game?
No, there's 2. On Netflix, at least. Yeah, there's 2.
I think it's just on Netflix this year, I think.
The 2 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's Steelers and it's a good one. Steelers Chiefs, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great one.
That's a
great game, man. You guys want to do it on playback?
And it's on a Wednesday, so they don't care. They're coming for the NBA, and they will get ratings.
Yeah. Again, this used to be like the NFL saying, hey, you can have an NBA, and then over the last couple of years, that's changed because huge ratings and huge cash grabs. And, I mean, we're never going back to it being the NBA's holiday. I wouldn't think.
I don't think so.
Robbie Callan had a great article on Uproxx about this. He wrote, quote, "The reality is the NBA can't consider the NFL a direct competitor and instead needs to figure out how they can best serve the audience that would be picking watching basketball over football. There is nowhere to hide from the NFL at this point. If there is money to be made and ratings to be had, the NFL has made it very clear that they will be there to scoop up as much cash and eyeballs as they can." And I mean, that is true. It's like you can't compete against them. Yep. Not in America. Maybe globally, but what else can you do to sort of inject some life into these Christmas Day games, which I do agree has sort of lost its luster in the NBA over the last couple seasons. I don't know, maybe 5 is too many, and I don't know. Like, it was fun there for a bit, the whole marathon of it, but maybe just lean into, like, go back to the 90s and give us Bulls Knicks.
Whoever the biggest stars are.
Yeah,
It was Kobe versus Shaq for a lot of it, right? Like, what could literally be the biggest game in the world, and how do you predict that 4 months in advance? It's just tough, but I guess they're just competing with, like, a Christmas Story marathon. They should be able to take those guys down.
Yeah. Well, that will be the funny part, or the ironic part is, like, this will probably be the biggest ratings for any NBA game this year, at least up until this point, on Christmas, no matter what Beyonce's doing over on Netflix. That's good. Highest ratings of the year, but bad probably once we see the comparison to the NFL ratings. You know what I mean? I don't think it's doing Jake Paul, Mike Tyson numbers, the Christmas Day games on NFL or on Netflix, but it'll do a lot more than the NBA games. I know that.
Yeah, and they're hoping for Netflix flubs, and so
fingers crossed for buffering.
Oh, the Flix flubs.
But a Wednesday game for NFL players, I mean, that is the thing that's getting closer and closer to the previous Sunday. Just check the schedule here, just to see how many days the Steelers get rest or the Chiefs get rest. They don't.
Could be a sloppy game.
They only get Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday rest.
Both?
No, excuse me. So they get, I guess they're playing Saturdays, so they have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Those
That's
two
a quick
teams.
turnaround, though.
That's a quick turnaround. It's getting quicker and quicker and quicker. The NFL's going to play on every single day. They're coming for it.
Well, the good thing is you can sort of just watch them both in today's
Exactly
technology.
Right.
You got you got the Netflix on your computer, and you got the ABC game on your TV. You know.
Watch a game on a phone. That's where I watched boxing. Wasn't fun.
No.
Watching a boxing match on a phone. Not cool.
And you did that because it wasn't working well?
No, I was just out. I was out, and they weren't.
Oh.
They weren't showing it.
They didn't have Netflix.
I guess not.
One of the rare people.
Sad bar.
Sad bar. Should have lent them your subscription.
No, they just don't know how to do things at that bar.
What bar were you at? Fascinating. Okay, so those are our headlines of business news. You tell us whether or not they were newsworthy. Pick 'em. Last night's result, man, just want to say before we get to tonight's game, tough loss for me and Tass. No, me and Esh.
That's right.
We took the Celtics. They had to win by 4.5 or more, so 5. They were on their way to doing that, and then a bunch of crazy shit happened. Starting with that Donovan Mitchell 3, which was a goddamn rainbow 3 that like cut it to like
wild.
Suddenly it's a close game, and then a bunch of missed free throws. And then, despite all that, the Celtics are up 5. The game is over. I mean, there's not enough time left for the Cavs to like do multiple possessions. Did they miss the shot and then it found its way to Ty Jerome?
Rebound.
Yeah, and he puts it in off the glass. It beats the buzzer. They lose by 3, so that's a loss for me and Esh.
Heartbreaker.
God, these are heartbreaking, man. They got no money on that, just pie, and still I'm like, God damn it! I'm like screaming. I'm so into it.
And those who are likely to eat some pie right now, anyways, it's Trey and Ash at the bottom at
I'm
this
right
point
there.
at
I'm
5
right
and
there.
6. Skeets are 6 and 5. I'm winning somehow.
Yeah, you're right.
Tonight, Philly at Memphis. I thought was an interesting one. It was an interesting one because the 76ers, they're reeling. And going into Memphis, again, against a tough defense. A top 8 defense against the Sixers split us.
Yeah.
You're with me here, Skeets, that you think the Sixers are going to win by 4 because that line is a big line for a team that's 2-11. But, you know, the betting people, they don't care necessarily about the current day record right here, right now. They see Sixers and they say, oh, yeah, they're going to win by 4 or more. It's a 3.5-point line in Memphis, while Trey and Ash think that Memphis can cover that bad boy.
Tass, I believe in accountability. That's what I'm banking on tonight. Just like we're going to tell you to be here early tomorrow. Tass Mellis will come in at 9:58.
Yeah, I'll be here.
That'll be early.
No chance I'll be here. I'm not even coming
Oh,
tomorrow.
yeah, you're not
Just
going to be here.
just
So we
'cause
can
you
start on
said
time.
that.
Woohoo! I'm kidding. But you're with me on the Sixers. You think the same thing.
What do you think, Trey? Why the plus 3.5?
I don't believe in the Sixers.
Yeah, hey, that's fair. That's a good reason.
I don't know. Were I given it a little more thought, maybe I would flip over, to be honest with you. The Grizzlies played last night. I know
Yeah.
they're missing a lot of guys as well, but it just seems to get worse for Philadelphia. So I'm assuming they'll get worse.
Yeah.
And they can still lose by a few.
Yeah, we can
In a
have what
close
happened last night. I mean, whoever took, me and Ash had the Celtics, right team, not enough points or not enough margin in the end. We got Bulls Bucks tonight on ESPN. TK.
Great.
Nationally televised game for the boys.
Oh,
Yeah.
bad news for the Bucks.
Yeah, that's right. And then Knicks Suns is the other one on ESPN. could be a good game. I know Suns are a little banged up as well. Sixers, Grizzlies, Blazers, Thunder, Pacers, Rockets, Pels, Cavs, Hawks, Warriors, Magic, Clippers. Point is, there's a lot of games. Some of us will be here to talk about them tomorrow. Not this guy.
No.
Not our producer. You know where they're headed? To the White House. That's right. Tass and JD are going to see the Celtics. What do they get?
Ceremony.
They just get a pat on the back.
They get to go to the White House.
They get to hang out at the White House.
Are they given anything? They give a jersey to the president.
Yeah.
But they're not really given anything, I guess.
No.
Anyway, hey, give it up for these guys. Here's a little speech from
Give it up for Luke Cornett.
from Joe. Will Joe be there? I guess he will.
Presumably.
He's back from the rainforest?
Joe invited me and Tass. Well, he invited all of us.
That's right.
But somebody had to stay back at work.
I don't have my passport right now. I couldn't even go.
Right. Yeah.
I was sent it home.
I'm 50-50 they're going to let me in.
Oh, you're not
come
100%
on.
good? What are you talking about?
Right at the
you
top
have a green
it says
card
I
and
know,
you have your
but
passport.
It does say you have to be an American citizen.
No, and then it
Or-
says the second
yeah.
part. Yeah.
You're a foreign national. You're good.
You're a goddamn hero in this country.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
If I had a hat, I would tip it to you.
You think Joe Biden's going to make a reference to an old Celtics player? Corn Pop Maxwell?
Corn Pop Maxwell.
Yeah, I think he will if he is doing this thing. Yeah.
Hondo?
Yeah. I think the joke should be like
Bob Cruz used
yeah,
it there.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Who will talk for the
Einstein.
Who will talk for the Celtics? You think? Is it Joe Mazzulla? He might say some crazy shit. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Tatum?
Yeah,
Maybe
Tatum. Tatum is the guy who usually grabs the mic for the team.
I mean, Drew Holiday. He's well spoken. Feels
Yeah.
like a politician to me. Future politician. Al Horford.
Lot of
Jeez,
gold
those
medals in
dreamy
his house.
eyes. Yeah. A lot of options. Can't
But
wait.
yeah,
You guys will be
a lot.
finding out. First-hand experience. Anyway, some of us will be here tomorrow. Ash will be here with TK. We'll be talking about these games. We'll also have No Buffs, our Survivor podcast later in the day, and the drop on Friday. But you guys have a blast. When you flying? Today or tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
yeah.
Okay. Everybody's suited and booted, I assume?
Yeah, I got to wear a suit on the plane.
Oh, why? Because you don't want to bring it in a garment bag?
That, and we're going right to the White House, aren't we?
Nah, we got lots of time.
I'm not taking a garment, but what are you going to do? Could you hang this up for me, please?
You're on.
Yeah, that's what you ask him. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
You feel like a pilot.
Just don't forget it.
So you think that you're going to come anywhere close to the start time? Let me give you your.
I'm with
What
you,
time's
Tass.
your
We're going to
flight?
be there at
Trey Life.
3:59.
Trey's excited.
It's like Joe Biden's talking and you hear you guys coming in. Excuse me, hold on, excuse me, sorry we're late.
Tass will be like, hold up. There's a Lincoln Memorial right there. Let's go check that out real quick. We got time. We got 5
Hold
minutes.
on,
Oh, I am definitely going to the ellipse. There's no doubt about that. The flight lands at 11:15.
All right.
Oh, we got
When
tons
does
of
it
time.
start?
It's like 4.
I don't know.
No, I'm asking you because you don't seem to know.
I think we're supposed to be there at 3:30, Tass.
Oh yeah, I have to pat you
You
down.
can be there early if you'd like. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll see you there, I
I'll
guess.
see you there.
Can't wait for this report from these guys. I am really looking forward to this. But we'll see you tomorrow. Till then, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us, and remember, I'm going to the ellipse tomorrow.
Have you been to Washington D.C.?
No, I'm not.
Oh,
What's the ellipse?
It's the hangout.
Cool.
embrace the day, people.